Thanks ever so much for coming. I've got a few words I've actually written down, which is quite unusual for me because I ramble drunkenly on, so I'll try not to do that. I'm actually stone cold sober. I'd like to repeat some of what Joe was saying about. I'd like to thank the people who actually put the exhibition up, which is of course the volunteers, and there wouldn't be a museum without the volunteers, and that's quite as simple as that. Not to mention Holly, Amber, Roy, and all the other Steve and Eric, all the other people who work here. They keep this amazing place going. Not to mention my fellow trustees, some of whom were here, or here maybe even now, led by Ollie Preston. Sadly, Ollie's been quite ill, and he was wanting to come tonight, but he went home instead. He did see the exhibition and enjoyed it, so it was good to hear from him. Thank them for daring to take on this apparent flood of anti-royal calumny and filth, or feast of light-hearted royal hijinks. And thanks, of course, to Prince Leslie King Charles for providing such a worthy, not to say rich target. And also to Corinne Villégier and everyone at the Saint-Just Le Martel, Salon International du Caricature, Dessin, de Presse et de l'Humour in France, for commissioning this exhibition back in the summer of 2023. But most of all, I'd like to thank my old friend and co-curator of this satirical feast, Olivier Auré, who organised the whole thing and gave me something to get my teeth into, and to take my mind off the unfortunate fact that The Guardian, for whom I've worked for 42 years, and where most of the cartoons in the Windsor Tapestry were first published through a long miserable process involving gaslighting, ghosting, and involving some notorious guidelines for editorial cartoonists issued by Dictat in the spring of 2023, were about to get rid of me for good. And sure enough, they did. Only a few days after the triumphant opening of La Tapisserie de Windsor, as it then was, in Saint-Just, and on an entirely trumped-up charge, if you'll pardon the expression, using an anti-Semitic trope in a cartoon about Benjamin Netanyahu in the early days of the war in Gaza. That's the man for whom the International Criminal Court has just this day issued an arrest warrant. Subsequently, the Israeli Cartoonists Association, in a unanimous vote, declared that my cartoon was in no way anti-Semitic. What would a load of Israeli cartoonists know about anti-Semitism? So paradoxically, I would like to thank The Guardian for being bold enough and generous enough to publish my cartoons while paying me for the privilege, and for letting me get away with it for so long. Our relationship could be awkward and sometimes prickly, but was mostly based on trust, and I am actually still very proud of what I was able to do for and with them. The essence of a cartoon is that it's autonomous. It stands there, defying you to laugh, cry, or react in some other fashion, no matter whether it's funny or not, political or non-political, well drawn, badly drawn, in black and white, in colour, in print, on a screen, in a phone, or on the wall of a museum. What it doesn't or shouldn't do is editorialise. In other words, express the opinion of an ad hoc committee of senior journalists. That's what editorials do, unsigned, which is why so few people read them. Finally, I'd like to thank you all for defying the weather and coming here tonight, especially to former colleagues, fellow cartoonists, friends, family, and to two people in particular, one of whom couldn't be here because he's only 2, home in bed in Brighton with his dad. I would like to thank my grandson Harry Black, as he's known, not to mention all 7 of my other grandchildren, but that's another story. And my partner Heather for showing me what's been most important during this unlooked for year of enforced retirement. Thank you all. Enjoy the show, buy the book, buy the catalogue, buy the tea table.